Top Pentagon officials will meet with lawmakers on Capitol Hill. It's all about that second strike on the alleged drug boat that killed 2. Senator Rand Paul joins me now. Mr. Senator, now, apart from the recent boat attacks, are you okay with this huge military buildup? I know you don't like the boat attacks, I got that, but this is a huge military buildup. What do you think to that?
I think the boat attacks are a prelude to an invasion of Venezuela. I don't like the idea of an offensive war. I like the idea of regime change. It's really one of the things I liked about Donald Trump was that he was against the Iraq war. He was against the war in Libya. He was against the war because often regime change leads to chaos and great expenditures both in lives and in treasure. So I hope that's not what's coming, but it certainly looks like it's a possibility.
One way or another, you think Maduro is gone pretty soon?
You know, I think for his people, I hope he's gone, of course. You know, I wrote a book, The Case Against Socialism, and in the opening chapters we talk about starvation, loss of weight, just the gangs roaming, people eating their pets in Venezuela. So I want, you know, the Venezuelan people to have a chance. I just don't think a military option, particularly without permission of Congress, is a good idea.
What's the alternative to a military operation?
Well, the alternative is a messy world where we say, you know what, we're not always able to establish perfect government everywhere. I mean, Colombia has a left-leaning socialist as well. South America at any point in time has 3 or 4 socialists running the countries, but it hasn't been our policy to say, oh, well, socialism is terrible and it's ruinous for its people, which is true, but we don't typically go in and just replace people. I mean, think of the despair of those in China, particularly since Tiananmen Square. But we don't advocate really going in and having regime change in China, at least rational people don't. So, yeah, it's an imperfect world, and we continue to strive for better, but we don't think that we have the ability or the obligation to replace governments around the world.
Do you think we could use the CIA in some way inside Venezuela? I know I wouldn't call it regime change, but it's a way of getting rid of Maduro. I'm not saying kill him, I'm just saying organize the generals to get rid of him.
It's against the law, obviously, to assassinate foreign leaders. Whether or not they can be used in another fashion, I'm not aware of that information. The president has said he will use the CIA in covert ways, which I wonder how it'll be covert when you announce that you're going to do it. But I think that it would be great if there would be a movement within Venezuela to displace Maduro. But I don't think it's an obligation of our U.S. military to do it.
Senator, let me change subjects for a second. I was thinking of you as a free market, limited government kind of guy. I want to know what you make of the welfare programs in this country, given the corruption in Minnesota.
I've never been for giving welfare to new people to this country. What we have done, not we, but others in Congress have allowed, is they have allowed exemptions to the rules. So if you come in under refugee status, which most of the Somalis did and 200,000 Afghans did, we then say, oh, well, the rules don't apply, refugees get welfare. And I think that's a mistake. I'm open to people coming to our country, but I think there also needs to be based on merit, based on work, and you know, hundreds of thousands of Somalis coming all at once, hundreds of thousands of Afghans coming all at once. I'm really not for that. I think it should be individualized based on merit. And really, frankly, a country like Afghanistan needed those people to stay to be the founding fathers of their country. If you have all the Western-oriented, aligned people who speak English and are open to Western civilization, they need to stay and be the founding fathers of their country. It'd sort of be like us in 1812 saying, oh, the British are back, why don't we flee to France and be protected in France? We stayed and we fought for our country. That's what the Afghans should have done.
You got it. One last one. Every December 23rd, you release your Festivus report on government waste. Can you, I know it's not December 23rd yet, but can you give us a sneak preview of what you might have found, bearing in mind the cuts from DOGE? I mean, did DOGE cuts improve things?
I'm the first to say that DOGE did a great job. We need to codify more of that into law by having Congress pass it. I think it's up in the air to know whether or not the foreign aid cuts that DOGE did, which I compliment, whether or not they're going to be enacted in this next budget. One of my complaints about the recent CR or spending bill was that I think it renews all the foreign aid spending, and we have to go through this again and rescind or try to remove it. But I can't give you any more detail yet because Festivus is a magical day, and you will have to wake up in the morning and see the loads and loads of American waste, U.S. waste, and there's still some to point out, and we will.
In television terms, that was a tease. And it actually was a very, very good tease, as a matter of fact. Senator, you have a great day. We'll see you again soon. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.